Welcome to Coaching for Creatives with Kirsten. My name is Kirsten Call. I'm a therapist-trained life coach and a children's book author. Together, we'll get the drama out of our lives and onto the page. Let's get started. You are listening to Episode 142, Regulating Your Emotions. About 6 weeks ago, I watched a mother finch bring a twig to her nest. I noticed her partner collaborating with her as they built this nest, and it happened to be on my back porch, nestled, see what I did there, on top of a light. So my husband finagled a way to tape an extra security camera above the nest so we could observe the action, and it was completely empty for a few days, and then the female house finch laid one really beautiful speckled blue egg, and then another and another the next day, and 5 eggs later, she sat on the nest just faithfully, and we just kept watching it kind of on a live stream, our own little live stream. We witnessed the first hatching, and 3 more baby birds hatched in quick succession. And then a couple days later, a 5th hatched. It was so much smaller than the others, and I was really worried that it wouldn't get fed. The father would give the mother food, and then they both would feed the babies. And they did end up taking really good care of the tiny one. They did not forget to reach the wide open beak of the smaller baby. So they did a very good job of nurturing all 5 of their baby birds. This nest brought me so much delight. At any time, I could just check the Simply Safe app and watch the birds in real time. Pretty soon, I noticed the baby birds were getting way too big for the nest. I even said to my husband, there isn't room for 5 of these baby birds in this nest. One of them is going to fall out. They put their necks up so high that the nest didn't even seem like it would hold them, right? So that's exactly what happened the night that I said this to him. The next morning, when I checked the camera to get a head count, there were only 4 birds left. And we found the baby bird on the ground beneath the nest. Definitely dead. So I know this is a part of nature, but it was so heartbreaking to have that baby bird fall to its death. The remaining 4 birds grew fast, and it seemed like they were outgrowing the nest again. And I thought, no. They started to perch on the edge of the nest. And then one day, my daughter witnessed it from the back porch because she was out there. Each one of them flew out of the nest in quick succession. I have video proof that all 4 were gone within 5 seconds. But the 4th one flew up and out and right into a wall, injuring itself fatally. I hope the other 3 are surviving in my wild, wonderful backyard right now. I really hope so. So I learned so much about house finches and how they raise their babies through this experience. I learned that sometimes a mother bird will lay an entire new family right after she's finished with the first one each summer. We're leaving our nest alone to see if she decides to fill it again. I found myself watching these birds, listening to their songs multiple times a day. I was really invested in their well-being and their survival, and I wanted them to live and to thrive. I cheered those parents on through their ups and downs. I felt my emotions swell with concern and triumph as these birds grew and fell and finally flew on their own. Now, what does this nest of baby birds have to do with emotional regulation? Honestly, I felt like I was watching the birds attempt to regulate their own emotions. Baby birds and also baby humans get pretty desperate right before they're fed. They cry harder or cheep more insistently when the food is right there. The parents also got pretty anxious and loud if we ever went on our porch. We tried to avoid it as much as possible, but sometimes it happened, right? And to be honest, I had to regulate my own emotions through the roller coaster of watching the birds thrive and fall and ultimately fly away. It felt like a really good metaphor for my life, looking at this empty nest once the birds flew away. First of all, they had 5 baby birds, just like I have 5 children. And my 4th is about to leave the nest, and then I'll just have 1 kid home. So that may be why this experience with the nest felt particularly apt for me. So let's talk about some concrete ways to regulate our emotions. Number 1, write in a journal. You know how much I love writing. Journaling specifically, I've been writing in a journal since I was 8 years old, and I think I have something like 77 filled journals. There are so many benefits to journaling, especially intentional journaling. It helps us externalize our thoughts, emotions, goals, and stories. Journaling boosts memory, reduces stress, increases creativity, and calms anxiety. You can write about whatever comes to mind, or you can use prompts like, what helps you feel more grounded? Or think back to moments of dysregulation. What helped most during those times? Journaling is just such a beautiful way to self-regulate. Number 2, ground yourself with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've talked about something almost identical to this on the podcast before, but what you do is you identify 5 things that you can see. Notice the colors and how the light touches them. And then you identify 4 things that you can touch around you. Notice the texture and how they feel in your hands. And then you pay attention to 3 things that you can hear. You tune into the background noise, right? And then 2 things you can smell. If there aren't multiple smells within your vicinity, you can think of 2 of your favorite smells. And then this is the thing I'm adding for today. 1 positive affirmation. Say something to yourself out loud, something that you like about yourself. So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Number 3, this one's pretty silly. Animal walks. So this is a really fun thing to do with your kids, but you can do it as an adult also. You can walk like an animal, like bear crawl across the kitchen, or hop like a frog, or slither like a snake. Silly movements tap into our proprioceptive input and help us feel grounded and calm. Plus, it's actually really fun if we allow ourselves to be uninhibited and silly. Number 4, push the wall. This is a really easy one. You just press your palms against the wall and push like you're trying to move it. This kind of heavy work regulates your nervous system and releases tension. Number 5, breathe and move. So just pair breathing with stretching. Try stretching your arms to the sky while you inhale and breathing out while you fold forward. Any kind of stretching. Just notice your breath along with your movement. Number 6, march to your favorite song. We talked about bilateral stimulation recently, but there's something about the predictability of using both sides of your body and marching to a rhythm that regulates your body and emotions. Plus, this one is also very fun. Number 7, count to 10. Sometimes it's just as easy as making space for your emotional dysregulation and distracting yourself from it. Number 8, be metacognitive. Be aware of what you're thinking. Be aware of what your mind is doing. Be intentional. Number 9, body scan. During a body scan, you just intentionally focus on different parts of your body, and this will naturally help you self-regulate. Number 10, focus on your breath. Follow your breath by paying attention to the exact moment your breath starts and the exact moment your breath ends. And this is actually more difficult than it seems, also just very helpful. Number 11, read books about emotions. I'm surprised I don't suggest books for every podcast, and maybe I'll start doing it from now on. Here are 4 books I recommend. Perhaps choose one of these to read. Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ by Daniel Goleman. The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. That's by Bessel van der Kolk. Handbook of Emotion Regulation, James Gross and Brett Ford. And The Emotional Life of Your Brain by Richard Davidson and Sharon Begley. I think just the very act of reading can be self-regulating, actually. So it doesn't matter what book you read. It's going to be helpful. But all 4 of these books are really great. So when you want to feel a little more even-keeled, I challenge you to try some of the things we've talked about today. Know that emotions are a data point for us to better understand ourselves. They indicate a need for action. It's time to self-regulate and fly like the baby birds in my backyard. Until next time, keep smiling. If you like what you've heard, check out my Get Yourself Unstuck program. Go to KirstenCall.com. That's KirstenCall.com and schedule a free consultation today. Coaching for Creatives is produced by Kirsten Call. Music and audio engineering by James Call.